Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday, and what do we do on Wednesday? Budget meals under $5. And here is our awesome hostess. Please go over and check her out and see what she came up this week for budget meals. I try to join in every week for budget meal under $5. You can put up any meal you want if you can just try to stay in that budget. You can put the video up anytime. It's an open collab. You can join in once in a while or every week, whatever you'd like to do. These are the kind of things I love doing. And just look at all the wonderful, wonderful videos she puts up, and she joins in with a lot of her friends, and she's a very good, supportive friend. If you're looking for someone like this, go check her out. A great channel. Now let's go see what Grandma did this week for budget meal under $5. We made this hash from the leftover roast from our Sunday dinner. Please go over and check the video out. We made a wonderful pot roast and some leftovers from that meat. We also made stroganoff. And so today is leftover hash, and we made it really cheap. I cut up 5 potatoes into small pieces, and there was a lot of bad pieces in here, so we just had to cut it out. And so I had to use 5 potatoes. I'm using leftover roast, and we're going to brown this up. We're going to also put a half a stick of butter in here also. With the half a stick of butter, I cut it up into fourths for it would melt a little more evenly, with a little bit of water in these potatoes, and they're sort of getting a little bit steamed also. We're going to season it in just a minute. Now normally I would also be cooking an onion in here, but since my grandchildren don't like onions, I'm going to cook it without an onion. But if it was just for me and my husband, we would also be putting a half an onion in here, browning it up also. But you know, when you got people that are picky eaters, you just have to make do. So to me, the onion gives more flavor, but since we have picky eaters, we are putting no onions in this hash. And also, these potatoes, these were freshly just bought. These are not old potatoes, but look at how bad they look. I cut out the best I could all the bad places, and I have no idea how much more of these 10 pounds of potatoes I'm going to have to throw away, because look at the mess. We just do the best we can, right guys? About every 5 to 7 minutes I stir my potatoes around, and as you can see, they're starting to cook just fine. And we're going to start seasoning them pretty quick. Here are the 4 seasonings I'm going to use on this dish. Italian seasoning, garlic, herb, and black pepper, and sea salt, and lemon pepper, and garlic salt. Just going to sprinkle this all in and let it all cook and simmer together. And I'm going to add 1 small can of tomato sauce. It's a Stater Brothers brand, so this is going to be a budget meal. I don't remember what I spent, maybe 50 cents for this can of tomato sauce. And of course the seasonings, maybe it's a quarter or 30 cents for all 4. Because I'm just sprinkling a little bit in, it's going to go a long ways. And we're going to use some leftover roast, and maybe that will be like $2 worth of meat, because it's not a lot. And then we're also going to add to this the potatoes, and there was 5 medium-sized potatoes. Maybe that's $1.50. So I think this is pretty well in budget for $5 or less. This is going to feed 4 people, so it is probably going to be like $1 or $1.25 per serving, because like I said, we're just making do with what we have, and there's no way this went over $5. We are also going to be having 4 pieces of bread with some butter on them, and also some frozen vegetables. So when we add that in, it's probably going to be about $5 or maybe $5.50. But you break it down into 4 servings. At the most, this is going to be is like maybe $1.50 a serving.
Well, that includes the bread and the vegetables. And that would mean I would have spent $6. So I think we did pretty good today getting a budget meal at $1.50 per serving. What do you think? Leave me a comment in the comment section, and I will show it all finished to you in just a few moments. And here's our leftover roast that we're going to put in here. I'm not putting this meat in until the last minute. I don't want to dry the meat out. It's already fully cooked from yesterday. All I'm going to do is just warm it up along with the vegetables in with the potatoes. And the tomato sauce I'm going to put in right now. Well, my potatoes are probably half done now. I have all my seasonings already in. I'm going to stir it around a little bit, put my tomato sauce in, and start putting everything together. With this one small pan of tomato sauce, I'm going to fill it up with water and pour the water over this, and then we're going to start mixing everything together, including the veggies. And in a few minutes, this will start cooking down, and once I put the veggies and meat in here, it's going to really get flavorful and be wonderful. Well, let's get those veggies ready now. They're going to be frozen vegetables if you want to use canned. We do not use any canned vegetables here. They're always fresh or they're frozen. It's probably about a cup or a cup and a half of vegetables. I don't usually measure stuff, I just pour stuff in. Now, I put in mixed vegetables, and I just should have showed you a picture of that, and then I poured some corn on top, and we're going to mix it all up, and it's going to really look good. Very colorful. Another thing is, when I cook, a lot of times I cook everything in one pot, like I'm doing this. The meat, the vegetables, the potatoes, everything's all in one pot. I don't like doing a lot of dishes. I have to think of ways to make our life easier, not harder. Now you can see that everything is all blended together and incorporating. I think it's time to put our meat in and let some of the flavors get into our meats also. Because it's more than halfway cooked now. My potatoes still need to cook a little bit longer, and my veggies need to cook for probably at least 10 minutes. But we're getting close to the finish line. I know that's not a lot of meat, but we're going to stir it in here, and there'll still be a little piece of meat in every bite, and it is going to really taste good. So just giving you some ideas and hints on how to put a budget meal together without spending a lot of money. It's going to end up being about $1.50 per serving. But as you see, we have our meat, our potatoes, our veggies, one pan got dirty, and we'll have a slice of butter bread on the side. I think we ended up with a pretty good meal. Plus, I'm going to go out to the garden and get a couple of tomatoes and slice them up to go with this, and there'll be a zero cost for that also. Well, as you can see, the meat is pretty well in there, and you can see there's still quite a bit, and everyone will get some. We're going to put the lid over and let it simmer for about 10 minutes, or until those potatoes are totally done. The veggies will be done by then, and my meat is, of course, already cooked. This leftover hash actually made 7 servings. I know that's hard to believe. That was for me, my husband, my grandson, his wife, and his son. And we still had enough left over for 2 more portions. So this meal actually ended up being under $1 a serving. 7 meals. I don't know for sure what I spent, but it wasn't very much. So thank you so much for stopping by. So glad you enjoyed the post today, and give this budget meal, give it a try on leftovers. Today's budget meal is going to be hash. I made the hash from the leftover roast from our Sunday dinner. Please go check out that video also.